If a customer comes from my own site, napleton.com, or on a specific car that we have on the inventory on the used cars, I have 5 times more likely I'll sell the car. When I'm looking at my year-to-date trend, the customers who we sold the cars to from our own website, the closing ratio is in some months as much as 45% closing ratio. Because the purity of the lead comes to me, it doesn't go to anywhere else.
A dealership can grow their business very easily by acquiring internet leads or by getting a website that yields a higher conversion ratio for internet leads.
You know, the dealers who are really doing this right are spending time invested in their website and ensuring that the website is positioned for maximum conversion before they begin trying to drive traffic to that website.
You have to start with having a solid website, right? That's sort of the cornerstone of an online marketing strategy.
So you don't want to go get a whole bunch of eyeballs to come look at you if you're not giving them the route and the path to a conversion. So the successful dealers will spend a lot of time focused on improving the website from a conversion perspective, and then we'll layer in paid and organic and display advertising to drive more and more traffic into that conversion-oriented site.
My answer to dealers when they ask me about what conversion rate should I have is in August of 2007, your conversion rate should be higher than it was in July of 2007. And in September of 2007, it should be higher than it was in August.
What are the key drivers of that conversion rate, right? So naturally our site already has a decent amount of traffic.
Right.
Through everything that we've done through the years because our name is known in the community. How do I leverage what's there and squeeze every last drop out of what the traffic that I have before I move on to pushing more traffic to it?
What are the things that you really have to have on the website to be successful with the consumer? It's not the flashy whiz-bang things, it's not the spinning objects, it's not the talking voice. Consumers fundamentally are looking for 2 things within a dealer's website. Do they have the vehicle, and do they have any deals on the vehicle? The more you can merchandise the inventory and put urgency around it by putting specials on that inventory, the more conversions you're going to create, the more opportunity you're going to drive at the dealership. The talking heads, the moving objects, the flash elements, they may all add to the experience, but what we often find in usability is that they drive consumers away because they just annoy them, and the consumer's really there to find 2 fundamental things, and most dealers don't deliver those 2 fundamental things.
If you think about when you've tried to shop for various products online, or if you haven't shopped online, when people in your family or friends have done that, you know, what kind of sites appeal to you? It's probably sites that are clean, well organized, that you don't have to go through a lot of pages to find the information you're looking for.
Once you get to the website, I think then it just becomes about the user experience. You need to make sure you're very clear and make sure that you have the basic information that consumers want right there readily in front of them. And I know it's exciting to put flash, exciting to put a lot of animation. That's great, but you've also got to make sure that the core pieces of information, such as your used car inventory, you want to make sure that that's online and available and that it's updated on a regular basis. You want to make sure that your address and that your phone number and that all the core information that a consumer is going to be looking for is very easy to find, and that your navigation is clear and simple, so if a consumer wants to do something on your site, that it's very easy for them to do that.
They just want to have clean, clear information. So don't blind them with garbage.
If the manufacturer is going to do the red tag sale or December to Remember or any of those types of campaigns that we all know about, let's make sure that our local marketing and our website reflects and leverages those billions of dollars that those OEMs are spending. And we find that our dealers that are actually doing that, they're riding on the coattails of the manufacturers who are spending these billions of dollars, that they're getting that lift in their ad budget. And of course that reflects back into the bottom line, and it helps the ISR, it helps the sales manager, and it helps the dealer principal, because it's less money that we have to spend to bring people to our local market, and then helps us capture them.
When you leverage that OEM advertising, you're really creating an opportunity for the consumer to learn more about the message that your manufacturer is promoting. More importantly, you're creating an opportunity to put a why me message along with that, right? you're trying hard as a dealer in your market to distinguish yourself from the dealer down the road. Well, I'll tell you what, most of the dealers down the road aren't taking that OEM message and putting it online, and even those that aren't amplifying that message with a story of why buy at my store. What does that mean? Well, an example of that from a successful dealership is taking, a Chevy Silverado blowout sale and adding to that OEM message of a 0% financing or $3,000 cash back something unique to the dealership. First year's oil changes are included with the sale of this vehicle. $250 gas card for buying the vehicle. $50 gas card for coming down and doing a test drive, right? Those types of promotions distinguish you from the dealer down the road, and they leverage the message that actually brought the consumer into the dealership in the first place, which was that OEM delivered mass media advertisement.
Let's say if you're running an advertising campaign that had it had a specific promotion. It was a spring event. It was very direct in what the content was. If that consumer goes online and types in that event and they don't see it, first of all, come up in the results, then see it in the content, in the ad, and then don't see it on your website, you've lost that opportunity completely because you weren't aligning all your other advertising campaigns that are out there that are talking about it with one of the most important places too, and that's on search and on your website.
The problem with configurators that most dealers use on their site is they've been sourced from a third party, right? They're not coming from the manufacturer, so they don't contain the same data that the manufacturer has in the configurator on their own site. If a dealer's going to use a configurator, they want to make sure that they're using the same configurator that their manufacturer uses. You want a consistency of the experience for the consumer so that if they've been on Chevy.com, when they're on yourchevystore.com, the configuration experience is the same. Most dealers don't have access to the tools that the manufacturers put into the brand site. Most of the third-party configurators out there will lead consumers down a path to configure cars that they can't order, that aren't available, that are regionally specific. You're much better off putting a virtual presentation of a car, presenting it as though you have it in inventory, and knowing that it's a car that you can actually get and order for that consumer if they want it, right? You're just trying to move them to a lead. Configurators don't necessarily help move a consumer to a lead. The reality is the consumer's looking for specific inventory. They want to know that it's on the lot and they want to come interact with you. What we see as the trend that's emerging around new vehicle merchandising in particular is the replacement of actual vehicle listings with virtualized listings. So the dealers want to give the impression that they have all combinations of make and model in stock so that they can create the opportunity, get the consumer to raise their hand and submit a lead or make the phone call with a goal of getting that consumer down to the store. That works on new vehicles very well. On the used vehicle side, it's no longer a commodity purchase, right? There's a specific car that I'm looking for. It has specific attributes, and I can't go to any given dealer and find that car. What it means is that on used vehicles, online merchandising is critical to getting that consumer into the dealership. Consumers no longer come down to your store to see what cars you have. They're going online first to figure it out. If you've got a car they're interested in, they're likely to come visit you. If you don't present it to them, as far as they're concerned, it doesn't exist on your lot, and you're not likely to be part of that consideration. Think about the website the same way you would as a showroom process, right? You're going to qualify that customer, you're going to answer their questions, you're going to move them from step to step to step to try to get them to the sale. The website is all about that process as well, and your content on the site should be oriented around breaking down those barriers, answering those consumer questions, and getting them to the next step in the process. Dealers can put a lot more energy into that part of their website and not have to worry about the geeky stuff in the background.
You're looking for Honda Accord EX, V6 leather, what have you. You go online, you know Napleton Honda, you go napletonhonda.com. Lucky me, he lives in 5 miles from my house. He likes my area, he likes my name. Now he'll shop for a car on my dealership. I don't have a car. Guess what? He's not going to do anything. He said, okay, he doesn't have a car. He goes out. He goes out on the internet, on Google, because Google is a big word these days. Guess what he does? He puts in Honda Accord EX V6, everything he puts in there. And he hits enter. You know what happens? Who's my competition there? Do you know that? All the third-party lead providers. They don't have a car in stock. They don't sell cars. They have nothing there. But guess what? As soon as he hit that, it comes up Auto by Tel, Dealex, Auto USA, what have you. Now the customer clicks on it. Now customer look for the car, they show him the car, they show him the picture, they show him everything. Now he fills out, okay, I want this car, I like this car, fill out everything else. Turn around, I have that lead in my inbox. It's a legit customer, he exists, he wants the car, and he is there waiting for the answer.
You look at the average dealer's websites, they're very poor. You know, the content is stale, the cars are often, you know, never changed, the specials are never used.
If a customer goes to a dealer's website, they may not want to take the time to fill out a request, they just want to pick up the phone and call that dealer right then. And I'm surprised at how many dealers have websites where you have to dig around and 3 to 4 clicks just to get to the phone number. So understanding consumers and what they're looking for. Not every customer wants to fill out a purchase request. Some dealers or some customers just want to pick up the phone and call the dealer.
So doing nothing else but thinking about the content and getting your offline message replicated online essentially doubles the number of opportunities that you get in an email format. Now, the hidden story behind all of that is the impact it has on phone calls. So we do a lot of measurement of how many phone calls result from a visit to the website. What we find on the average dealer website, and there's a lot of variability in there depending on what brand, what make, highline, mass market, but for the average dealer website, there are 4 phone calls for every 1 email that's generated off of the site. So if you put a lot of emphasis into improving conversion rates on the website, the impact may look negligible in the amount of leads that you're delivering. It has a pretty profound impact on the number of phone calls that you're delivering.
Every time a dealer drives into work in the morning, you're looking at your store and you're saying, does it look good? Do I have the right cars out front? Do I have the right car up on the riser where everyone can see it with the right price point? Are the windows clean? Does the store look, are the salespeople dressed well? Is this the way I want the world to see my store? Do the same thing online. Look at your website. Is this the way I want to represent myself online? Do a search for your dealership. Is this the way I want to represent myself online? You know, am I happy with the way I look on these results? And if the answer to any of those is no, address it in the same way you would if your windows were dirty of your store, and fix it and do something about it. And that's the basics. And if you're not sure how you want to do that yourself, get help.
Yeah, so you're trying to figure out how your consumers convert, right? We spend a lot of time looking at log files and conversion paths, right? So we begin to understand things like consumers who look at the dealer information page, right? The letter from the general manager or about our store, the history of our dealership in the community. We can see that step is involved in a significant percentage of the visits that actually lead to a conversion, right? It's just interesting data to look at. What you're trying to figure out is what are the pieces of information that the consumer needs to interact with before they get comfortable enough to raise their hand and say, hey, I want to do business with your dealership, or at least I'm considering doing business with your dealership.
How many months of log files do you have to have, and how long does it take to analyze it to figure this out for a store?
You can begin to get insight into successful paths after the first month of having a website up, right? You will see entry page and exit page information. First question you should ask yourself is, why are they all leaving when they get to this page? And how do I provide the information that they were likely looking for to make it not the last page, but the next to the last page, and maybe I can get them one step further. Sure, the data and the clarity gets better as you get more and more traffic and more visitors through the site, but you can begin to massage almost immediately.
You know, we do this online marketing, and the way I look at it, we track everything a dealership does in the real world and extrapolate that to the virtual world, right? So first of all, we tell the dealers, you know how much money you spend putting out a brand message? I mean, brand messages need to be reinforced. When you're going down the Amazon and you see a billboard for Coca-Cola, they're not selling you Coca-Cola. They're reinforcing the brand message. So the dealers actually spend thousands of dollars every month advertising some unique message. We have the largest, stock of cars. We are on the interstate junction or good location with good stock. Some brand message goes out. They figured that out because the ad agencies get them to the point. And there's a call to action, come to my website. When you go to the website, nothing. It doesn't speak about the brand message. It's as if Macy's announcing a sale and you show up there and no one heard of that.
This isn't that hard. Dealers have been doing this offline for years and years and years, and all we're trying to do is help the dealers realize take the same types of strategies that you would do offline and move them online. So if we're going to have a major sales event every single month, let's make sure that that is online, right? Let's make sure that our search campaign reflects that.